Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the surprisingly complex process behind a viral YouTube niche that is generating a ton of buzz and, yeah, a ton of money. We're going way past the hype to show you the actual workflow.
So, if you look at the social tracking sites, you'll see a number like this: $37,000 a month for a channel in this AI elderly wisdom niche. Now, the creator we're looking at today says it's probably closer to a steady $15,000 to $20,000, which, let's be honest, is still an absolutely mind-blowing number for a mostly automated channel.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? The answer is, well, it's not some magic prompt or a secret tool nobody knows about. It's a really detailed, multi-step process that most people just skip right over because they're looking for a shortcut. They see the shiny final product, but they have no idea about the intricate system that actually built it.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to break this whole thing down into 6 key parts. We'll start with the niche itself, then move into crafting the story, creating the character, animating them, editing the final video, and finally, the real secret that holds this all together.
So, first off, what even is this niche? It's being called AI elderly wisdom, and it's basically AI-generated characters sharing these powerful life lessons. But the real key here is the audience. It taps straight into a younger demographic that's genuinely hungry for mentorship and guidance, and that creates this really powerful emotional hook right from the get-go.
Now, this is where things get really interesting, how the story is actually put together. This is not about just typing one little prompt into an AI and calling it a day. No way. It's this super sophisticated 4-step process that's designed from the ground up to create a narrative that feels real and emotionally engaging.
The whole thing starts with just brute force idea generation in ChatGPT. The goal is to get 50 different titles. Just cast a really wide net. But the genius part is what comes next. They use a really clever follow-up prompt to make the AI act like a human and pick the 10 titles that are the most clickable. It's only after that step that they move on to the story concept and a detailed outline.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got these generic, totally boring titles that the AI spits out first. But on the right, you have headlines packed with curiosity, with real human experience, with a story you feel like you have to click on. That one refinement step changes everything.
So this is it. This is the crucial prompt. By asking the AI to think like a human, it forces the model to go beyond just spitting out keywords and into the realm of human psychology. It's not just about what the topic is anymore, it's about what actually makes our brains light up and say, I need to know more.
And the process doesn't even stop there. Once they have that core concept from ChatGPT, they switch over to a more specialized platform called Arnea.io, which uses the really powerful Claude Opus model. Turns out, this tool is just better at building a structured, detailed outline, which is the real backbone of a great script. This really gets to a core idea of the whole system. You got to use the best tool for each specific job.
Okay, so we've got a high-quality script. The next major phase is all about creating the visual identity of our narrator, and it has to be consistent, it has to be believable, and it has to be high quality.
And this is a really methodical 3-part process. It starts with creating a super captivating thumbnail image. Then, they generate the main narrator image. And finally, and this is so clever, an image of just the empty chair and the background where that narrator is eventually going to sit.
And I want to call this out specifically because it's so important. They are creating 2 distinct, separate images. You have the narrator, who's going to do all the talking, and then you have just the empty chair. Now, this isn't an accident. It's a very deliberate step that makes a really crucial animation possible a little later on.
Okay, so we've got the words, we've got the static pictures. The next huge challenge is how do you make that character speak and move in a way that feels natural and not like some generic, creepy AI robot.
So for the animation, they use a couple of key tools. First is HeyGen. They use it to create a custom avatar from that narrator image, and, this is critical, a unique, natural-sounding voice, so it doesn't have that robotic AI sound. Then they use a totally separate tool called Flow Frames just for the intro to animate the character literally walking over and sitting down in that empty chair we generated earlier. It's a great little payoff.
All right, we're in the home stretch. This is the final stage where all the pieces we've so carefully generated, the script, the voice, the character, the animations, all of it comes together into one cohesive video.
And check out this brilliant time-saving technique. Once the main narration is laid out in the video editor, they export the caption file, the SRT file, then they feed that file into Google Gemini, which automatically generates a whole list of relevant B-roll image prompts, complete with the exact timestamps for where each image should go in the video.
It's genius.
Now, to maintain that super important consistency, they upload the main narrator's image right alongside these new B-roll prompts. This basically tells the AI, hey, remember that guy from the first picture? Yeah, make sure you put him in all of these new scenes. This way, the visual story never breaks.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? If you've been following along, you've probably realized it's not about finding that one perfect tool or some magic prompt that just does everything for you.
The real secret here is the system itself. It's this carefully orchestrated workflow that uses the absolute best, most specialized tool for each specific job, from the multi-step scripting to the consistent visuals to the custom animation and voice. It's the whole shebang.
Success in this space is not about being the fastest. It's not about the shortcut. It's about a meticulous, really detailed approach that puts quality first at every single step. The people who are really crushing it get that the extra effort is exactly what separates their stuff from the massive flood of low-quality AI content out there.
And that leaves us with this one last pretty big thought to chew on. This workflow, it isn't just a tutorial for YouTube niche, it's really a blueprint for high-quality AI-assisted creation. It proves that the true innovation isn't just the AI itself, but the clever, human-designed systems that guide it to produce truly incredible results.